So I wanted to talk today about showing you an example of why you might be using your credit card the wrong way. Let's scale it down a little bit and say that you buy an item for $50 and charge it to your credit card. And let's say that the credit card has an APR, an annual percentage rate, of 18.99%, and that you start off paying the minimum payment each month of $1 a month, which no one likes to pay more than they have to, so it's totally affordable, right? But in reality, you're going to be paying off that item for the next 8.5 years. And by the time you finish, you've actually spent $101 on an item that should have only cost $50. And there's a chance that that item might be long gone by then. So you can see how silly that is. It's almost like walking up to the register with an item marked for $50 and the cashier asks for $101 and you agree to it. Probably not many people would do that in the moment, but we do it over long periods of time with credit cards. Some people claim that they'll just pay more than the minimum, but that rarely happens. The chances are, if you are okay with using a credit card as a loan, it's going to be too tempting to charge that card right up to its limit, and you'll have no choice but to pay the minimum. Now, credit cards aren't stupid in themselves. I have a credit card because it's more convenient to carry than cash, and I earn money from the points. And it's actually really nice to be making money off of the credit card companies instead of them making money off of me. I can avoid interest by paying everything off the same month that I buy it. But it's a tool, and like any tool, it can be misused if you're thinking of it as a cash advance rather than a tool to pay with the money that you already have. It can also be a tool to increase your credit score, assuming that you don't have too many accounts open. The credit bureaus look at your credit card balance and compare it to your limit. And the bigger the gap, the more your score goes up. So if you have a credit card with a high limit and a zero balance, that's going to be fantastic for your credit score. We're not taught these things at a young age like we should. We're taught not to talk about money because it's impolite or uncomfortable. We go to high school and don't learn anything about personal finance or how to buy a home or a car. And then we graduate and are thrown out into the world to be independent, and we have no idea how to manage the money that comes our way. So then on top of our lack of education about money, we become bombarded with advertising and consumerism all around us. We have ambient advertising, stealth endorsers, targeted advertising, cross-merchandising, product placement, virtual advertising. The temptations are just overwhelming, and somehow we come to believe this myth that we need all these items and that people who have all these things have prestige and that we have to keep up with them. Here are a few statistics about consumerism that I found from Relevant Magazine, and I thought they might be useful with Christmas shopping getting closer. The average American household has more than $7,500 in consumer debt. And for the record, consumer debt means debt that has been incurred for items that are consumable or that do not appreciate in value. So like clothes, food, electronics, toys, sometimes furniture, and so on. Homes in the U.S. contain more TVs than they do people. Last year, Americans spent $57.4 billion on Black Friday alone. In America, more money is spent on fashion accessories than college tuition. And nearly half of the world's toys are in America. I used to be one of these people. I was all about the name brands, and the idea of buying things cheap was just repulsive to me. I would go shopping to get that shopper's high or buzz. It felt great to be able to walk into a shopping mall and buy whatever I needed on credit if necessary. And that can turn into an addiction very quickly. But here's the problem with that. Very few people can actually afford the things that they're buying. And no one can afford to be buying something on credit when they don't have the cash to pay for it. I think people are surprised to learn that most actually rich people don't spend their money. I was reading an article from MarketWatch the other day called 10 Things Rich People Know That You Don't. One of them was live like you're poor. And another one was avoid temptation. When people display extravagant habits, even people who have extremely large incomes, that's usually a sign that they can't rein in their spending and that they're going to want to spend every penny that they earn, and more. If you imagine getting a raise, the first thing you usually think of is all the things you'll be able to afford now, right? Well, that's the problem right there, is that rather than getting a raise and keeping our lifestyle the same so we can keep that extra money, human nature makes us want to spend all the way up to the limit and more. People who buy homes usually want to buy the most expensive home they can possibly qualify for rather than one that they can actually responsibly afford. What I found really amazing is that when I started putting that money towards saving and watching that money grow and grow, it gave me the same high or buzz that shopping gave me, except that this feeling sticks around and you don't feel that regret afterwards like you do with shopping. So I hope that gives you a better idea of what you're actually getting into when you accumulate consumer debt. I'm flattered that so many of you requested more videos. I made a list of some subjects I wanted to cover before the end of the year for when people start making New Year's resolutions and things, and I'll try to do one of them each week. The first few will just be more trying to change the way that we think about money, which will hopefully get you really motivated, and towards the end will be some of those actual frugality tips so you can start strong this new year. So, see you next time.